down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Oh, shucks, we're back. If you didn't listen to the Pat Poynton back from the dungeons of busyness, he is back and being a butterfly and answering any question. He's on the hot seat. Any question that I ask him, he is bringing it. And so if you didn't listen to the last introduction podcast, you need to do that and get a familiarity with Pat. Pat has about 10 episodes on the Savvy Radio Show. You can go to savvyradioshow.com. Just type in the search bar for Pat, and all of his episodes will come up. And it's a wealth of knowledge. You need to do that. All right. So, Pat, thanks for coming back.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. All right. Let's just go right into it. You said something on the last episode that was real powerful about buying in different areas. Like, it's more money in Norman. It's more money. It's 20% more in Edmond. I agree with that philosophy. I wish we can coin artificial numbers. We got to come up with a term for that because I think that'd be trademarked. No, but you mentioned you live east. I live on the east side. I do buy in Midwest City, but I've always stayed out of Shawnee. I actually went to college there, and the numbers scare me there. Now you invest in Shawnee, and in my mind that's a rural area, or is it Choctaw would be rural?
No, both of them they're rather similar. Now the city part of Shawnee is not normally where I buy.
Okay.
I normally buy, when I say Shawnee, I'm talking about an acreage tract 5 miles from town, or maybe closer to town.
So that's
or whatever. I might buy in Shawnee, but Shawnee's a little bit weird.
Right. So how did you? Okay. So you're from Oklahoma City. You've done a lot of deals in Oklahoma City, and now you live way east, Choctaw-ish area. You have a storage unit out there that you kind of maintain. That's kind of like your little side hobby. Are you actively in Shawnee? I mean, because to me, it's like you can find a house for $16,000, and then 3 days later, I'll get another offer on a house for $50,000. It just seems like it's all over, and there's no thriving economy there that I'm aware of. Like oil is here. There's regular jobs here in Shawnee. What industry?
I think Tinker Field is probably the big employer for Shawnee.
Tinker, okay.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people go there. There's several manufacturing facilities. It's not as devoid of employment as you might first think.
Okay.
What it has a lot of old houses in it. That's your $16,000 stuff that was built in the 1930s.
Right.
And your $50,000 house may be 2 blocks away and was built in the 70s or 60s. Excellent. You have some of that. Since the whole town seems to have that, it doesn't seem to hurt you like it would in other parts of town.
Now, our friend Earp had some houses in Shawnee, and he ran into a bunch of problems with the city permits and stuff. It just seems like the Wild West out there. Like a lot of rural areas or smaller town areas, the city's not so much involved, but then they can be involved if the switch is flipped on.
I have not had a lot of problems in Shawnee.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you couldn't.
Now, do you make a lot of money in Shawnee, or is it?
No, I don't do a lot there. I do a lot in the rural areas. When I talk about rural areas, I'm talking out there around the casino. I'm talking about Dale.
Like a 1 bedroom. I mean, like a 1 acre lot with a trailer on it,
or a 3-bedroom house.
That's
built. There's a lot of them out there. Matter of fact, I've got a flip going right now out there that's 2,700 feet.
Wow.
But I mean, there's all manner of houses on 10 acres. It's a nice property. I've cut the 10 acres up into 3 pieces.
Right.
Selling off a 3-acre tract, and keeping the 4 with the house and barns and all that on it. And it's a real good investment, a really good investment.
I love the approach. You zone in on the casino, which is a thriving industry.
And there's a new interstate highway going in there, a new turnpike that'll connect Turner Turnpike and I-40 that's going in there. And I buy a lot of that kind of thing. I buy a lot of stuff in the Choctaw marketplace. I buy in what I call Eastern Midwest City. I buy in all Midwest City, but Eastern Midwest City to me is
like Spencer.
And no. Anderson Road to Midwest Boulevard is what I consider to be Eastern Midwest City.
Jones, on the edge of Jones.
I don't buy Jones much, and I don't buy
okay
Spencer at all.
So to me, that's all rural.
That's Spencer and all. The schools go way down. You're back into Oklahoma City schools. People want to live out there don't want to be in Oklahoma City schools. They have a choice. They want to be in Middale schools.
Right.
Or they want to be in Choctaw schools. They want to be in Harrah schools. I love Harrah. I like Choctaw. I like Newalla. I like Dale. I like those areas down toward the south, as far down as Highway 9, all the way to Tecumseh.
Okay, let's talk about investing here. So I guess you're totally going against what all the other rookie investors are doing. Everybody's pouncing on deals in the city, and you're making a left-hand turn and going into the rural market.
I buy city property, but I'm not as big on city property as I am on these. Here's the deal. I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than just another fish in a big pond.
Right. And how are you marketing bandit signs out there?
No, I quit the bandit signs. I was one of the very first guys to use them. I used to buy them from XYZ Sign Company in Houston, Texas 15 years ago. But they've gotten so saturated that I don't feel that they give me the return.
Well, out there, no one's doing it, I'm assuming.
Well, it's done some, and out there, you could probably get away with it. But I've done a lot of it in town. I've been called on the carpet by every town in Oklahoma City metropolitan area. They used to be a great way. Today, I think they're overused and overmarketed. Most of what I do today, I get from realtors. I get from builders sometimes. A lot of times I'll see a vacant property. I'll write a letter.
Right.
I do that kind of thing quite a bit. I've got one 5-acre tract I'm looking at now that it's got an older mobile home on it. I will dismantle that mobile home and either build a home or put a double wide on it or something like that, and then bring it up to standards and sell it and carry the note.
Right. Right into carrying the note, I've read some stuff. I have a friend of mine in Springfield, Missouri, that is getting into land. He's like, man, Steven, you need to get into land. Of course, I'm staying focused right now, single family homes. I'm not deviating from that plan. But what he said was very powerful. He's like, you can buy this land pretty reasonably cheap, like really cheap, and then turn around and finance it. And almost the down payment that when you finance that to someone else is almost close enough to what you bought it for. Have you ever had transactions like that?
My dad was primarily a land developer.
Okay.
He did over 1,000 lots by 1957.
Cool.
And most of the time they were $10 down and $10 a month. And I know in 1957 my dad didn't work at all. He had like $7,000 a month coming in and no debt. Wow. In that time, that was like having $70,000 today. I mean, cars cost $1,200 for brand new Chevrolet. Wow. I mean, it was crazy. But anyway, we took off the whole year and traveled the United States. That's what my dad did the whole year. Took me out of school, and my mother was pregnant with my brother, and we just traveled around, went to Canada, went to California, went to Washington, went all over. Just did nothing because of the payments from land sales. Now, he would go in and put in a little road, and they
just
started off
lots.
being dirt, and then they ended up being gravel, and then they ended up being pavement, and we're still doing subdivisions to this day.
Okay, and you're selling lots on terms.
Sometimes, yes.
What about just selling land, like in general? Okay, so my two questions here. When people are purchasing these properties, these lots or land, are they really going to build on them? Or some people just want to own, I'm assuming, this is just my weirdness, they just want to own land.
Well, it probably depends on the price. Now, if they can buy something for $700-800 an acre, they probably want to own it. I'm talking about selling them an acre for $40,000 in Choctaw.
So they want to build then.
Yeah, they're not going to buy that for.
Well, you're owner financing it to them, so they don't have a loan in place.
Sometimes I do, but most times I get cash for those because those normally go to builders or to an owner that's going to build soon. Well, now, if I sold a 5-acre tract, I might very well sell it for, I don't know, let's say $50,000 with $5,000 down and $500 a month for 10 years or something. See,
just on a 5-acre tract.
Yeah, depending on where it's at, it might not be that expensive. If it was way out, it might be more expensive.
No. The numbers are pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, in the smaller town land that's not really accessible.
I'm looking at 5-acre tracts anywhere between $30,000 and $150,000, depending on where they're at.
Who's the sellers? Profile the seller for me. Is it like willed into their name? Are they trying to? Are they flipping land to you? Who are these people?
No, generally they've inherited it some way or another. Like, for instance, I was telling about this 5-acre tract as a classic example. It was the man's wife's brother. He passed away and left it to her. They live in Shawnee. They're not terribly interested in owning it. They're not terribly interested in having anything to do with it. So if you were to buy this, I think that you're going to be able to negotiate a fairly good terms and a fairly good thing for yourself because you just make it easy for them.
Right. And they don't really know what to do with it.
They just put a homemade sign up on it, and
so you're just cruising around over there.
I just saw it going home the other day.
And you called on it.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about that deal.
Well, that deal is.
You called on it, and what'd they say the price was?
Well, they're asking 60. I'm thinking 40.
Yeah,
I'm thinking 30 really, but 40 is probably where I'm at. I'm thinking $3,000 or $4,000 down, $300 a month.
So
I'll go in there and buy a double wide. I'll buy a double wide. I buy my mobile homes from finance companies, but mobile homes are normally financed with a finance company like Associates, and I have a deal working with them to buy them wholesale that have been repossessed, and I buy them in units of 5 or 10.
Okay.
And I go look at them, and then I move them. So in this case, I try to buy a double wide, and I'd set it up on that lot. I'd sell the whole thing I'd buy the double wide for $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, depending on its condition. So now I've got maybe 60 in it time up because it's already got well and septic and all that. See, so I set the double wide up. Now I've got maybe 60 in it. I sell it for $100, and I get $10,000 down, and they pay me $700 a month for the next 30 years.
No, this is after you cut up the land, or is this
no?
the
I
whole
just sell
lot?
the whole 5 acres.
So you found So let's just walk this deal because
back up.
You got this.
Let's
sign.
say I buy it for 40.
Well, no, let's just go through play by play. So you drove by, bam, you called the sign.
Yeah.
And the lady's like,
Well,
yeah, she tells you about it.
Yeah.
You go see it. They want 60, and then what'd you say after that?
I say my hope is that I'll get this bought for 40.
In your mind, or did you just tell them that?
I haven't told them a word yet, but I'm looking at their property. This just happened in the last 2 or 3 days.
No, this is great.
Okay. So here's the thing. Assuming I could buy it for 40, that's my plan.
Sure.
Then I'll go to my associates people and I'll buy a double wide somewhere in the state.
Let's stay with the seller. How do you negotiate from there?
Well, I try to get the seller to take the least I can get down and give me 10, 15-year term.
Well, I want cash.
Well, then if I think it's a good enough deal, then I'll go to private investor.
Okay, so that's when you get it down to 30.
Yeah.
Because then it would be
all
easier.
Cash. Yeah, I got 2 choices here. I'll maybe make up 2 offers: $40,000 with $4,000 down, 10% down,
and
a 10 or 15-year note, or $30,000 all cash.
Yeah,
and I'll have most of that up, and you can decide which is best for you.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then you lock it up.
Okay,
let's say you got it for 40. Then so your only cost is the $4,000 down and the $12,000
for the mobile home.
So you got a total out of your pocket.
I got to pay cash for the mobile home and the moving and all. So maybe I've got 15 grand in
20,
there.
15, 20. Okay.
Okay, and I got maybe 4.5 there. So maybe I've got $20,000 in the whole thing.
So then you turn that, then you sell it for $100,000, which gives you
I get $10,000 to $20,000 down,
which recoups almost majority of your cost,
and I get maybe $750 a month for the next 20 or 30 years.
And then you just arbitrage, or I guess do the wraparound mortgage with the individual that you got the initial land from.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's say I get a payment from them for $700, and maybe a $40,000 at 6%, $2,400 a year interest. That'll have about a $250 to $300 payment. Let's say it's a $300 payment. Okay. So I give them their $300. I get your $750 in. $150 of it probably go for taxes and insurance.
So $400.
So I make $300 a month for the next 30 years.
Right. And then if they want to cash out, you offer a buyout at a discount or sell the note.
Does your mortgage company offer a buyout?
No, but they may need the cash. You can go back to them later and cash them out at a discount.
Sure, you could, but what I might do is I might go to my lender, that I private mortgage guy, but I don't normally give him a cash buyout. He invested with me because he wanted his money to earn money. Mm-hmm. So if I take advantage of him by offering him a lesser amount of money for a buyout, I've kind of cut the throat of the guy that keeps me in business.
Right. Well, I'm talking about the people that have the land.
Okay. The people that have the land, I might go to them and say, look,
I'll give you $25,000 cash today.
Yes.
So we can close this note.
And I certainly might do that. But my private investor, I would never do that to them.
So what do you prefer, land, development, single-family homes?
I prefer land and development. That's my favorite thing. But it consumes a lot of cash, and it takes a while. It makes a lot of money.
Right. So you're a lot of busy work.
Yeah, a lot of work. Single-family homes, if I can fix them up and sell them, I like. I'm not a big fan of rentals. Now, rentals will make you wealthy. I'll grant you everything about them. I just don't like getting called on Sunday afternoon.
And that reminds me of what Earp used to tell me. He's like, you own or finance them all because you don't want to do any of the maintenance. You don't want to deal any of the work. And That was to me was the next level as a real estate investor. Yeah, you buy them, you got them with a mortgage, and then you become this worker bee landlord. And then, but to prevent the worker bee landlord, you sell that house on terms.
I've got 2 working now that I've been renting, and both of these renters are exceptional tenants. Okay, just exceptional tenants. So I'm doing my best to sell them their house with very little down. I mean, the reason I am is all I've done is I've just walked away from the maintenance.
Right. I mean, I'm in the middle of that IRA deal is the same scenario. I mean, it's just like I'm selling it to them on terms because it's a non-recourse loan because they're buying it out of their IRA. And if they default, I'll take, not against them, I'll take the property back. I need to do a deed in lieu probably, right?
I wouldn't do that until they got behind. I mean, I wouldn't do it ahead of time.
Well, you can't you create and not file it, a deed in lieu?
You could, but I probably wouldn't. You can. What I would probably do is I would probably just do the mortgage, okay? And then I'd say, if they got behind, I'd say, here's your 2 options. You can give me a deed in lieu, walk away, or I'll foreclose you. Mm-hmm. And if I do that, it comes against your credit.
Well, not on an
IRA. I've not done it that way on an IRA, so maybe you want to do that.
Well, the rule of thumb that I'm relatively a rookie in this area, but I'm going to do a deed in lieu during the closing, but I'm not going to file it.
Okay. Well, if you can get that, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, it's just an idea that I've...
But I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that if the customer's willing to give it to you.
Right. Okay. So what do you prefer then? Single family?
If I'm going to do single family, I'd love to sell them on own or carry.
No, which one out of those 3? Answer the damn question. What do you like better? Single family, land development, or, this creative land, buy, sell land?
I probably like land development the best. And I love seeing streets go in and all that. It just does something for me.
I admire you because it seems like the most scariest thing.
It's a little scary.
But, it's interesting because I'm driving by. I'm over on Britton and Kelly. And you know where the car dealerships are in Kalidi?
Yeah.
They have taken that whole tract of land, and it's going to be like a zillionaire deal. But I saw that land for 10 years. I'm like, who's going to live on the east side over here by these projects? There's no...
The east side is changing before your very eyes.
Yes, I live on that side. I mean, I'm on my way home. I mean,
yeah,
I drive those streets.
It's changing.
But that guy had big kahunas, and bought that whole tract. And I mean, it's going to be a super powerhouse success. Well, now they're probably thinking Kalidi is everyone's on the guy's knickknacks anyway. But I was like, how do you have that tenacity or that forthright to know, like Ian Choctaw? There's no way that I would know. I mean, yeah, when you mention the word casino, that makes sense. Anything from a 10-mile radius of the casino is probably a pretty decent base hit.
I live 4 miles from the casino.
I mean, yeah. Now,
I live closer to
we're
town.
old enough that, I moved here in 1992. There was no casino there.
You're talking about something you'd like to own? That's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
I don't know how I could do it, but I sure like to have one.
Actually, we're having a poker night tonight.
I'm not interested in that. That's not. I don't want to gamble. I want to do that. Hey, I have no interest in playing poker. Let me tell you how poker is. If I want to gamble, I just buy a house I haven't walked around. I don't need to go anywhere else and do anything else.
That is so true. All right, so you're going to pick land development because
I just like it.
It gets your
it
juices
just gets my
flowing,
juices flowing.
and
it's
then
exciting.
you get to see This is a bunch of brush, and now it's a community that people were living in.
My father told me anytime you can change the use of something, there's an opportunity to make big money.
Well, good, well said.
Now, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You buy a vacant lot and you put a McDonald's on it, it's different than it was when it was a vacant lot.
Or just like what people...
Khalid's doing it.
Yeah.
You drove by it for 10 years and thought it had no value to amount to anything. Now, one of these days you'll drive by it and think, God, those are the nicest houses in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, well, I thought the signs that I'm seeing...
the value.
Well, I know there was value, but they've substantially, probably 100-fold.
Oh, yeah.
If I could... I'll be around by the time that thing's developed. But, I saw the roads going in. I'm like, who the freak's going to buy this? Then I saw a metal building pop up. I'm like, that's cool. There's probably some dance gym in there. We need more of those. And then now, they're like, bang, 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 bang. Like, they're like putting a pond in. And they're like commercial and residential lots. So they're mixed using it. They got mixed use on the commercial. I'm like, this thing is going to blow the flip up.
Yeah. But that's the most exciting. Now, my dad always taught me you want a 300% profit on land development.
Good rule of thumb. But I mean, you have to. It takes time. The paycheck doesn't come for at least a year to 2. 2 years, maybe.
Longer. I've got a 24 lot final space in addition in Choctaw right now.
24 units.
24 lots, 1 acre lots that I need to put the street in. And those lots will sell in the $50,000 to $60,000.
Wow, that's kind of high for Choctaw.
No, not anymore. You're not behind. You're behind the times, Jack.
Well, off of Anderson, lots were about 5,000.
Baloney. Where at?
Well, my buddy has like 5 lots off of Anderson.
And when and what?
I don't know. I don't know where he lives at. I mean, I have 23rd Street in Anderson, probably just south of 23rd and to go south on Anderson. I don't know. I have to look
That's
him up.
Nakoma Park. They may be all right.
I don't know.
But I don't know. But I'm just telling you, the new developments out there are running $60,000 for.
No, I don't. I'm
for
not
a lot,
questioning you. I'm just amazed that you can pay that in Edmond.
Yeah, but I'm saying that.
I mean, see this again. Here's this thing that artificial numbers that we're talking about. You were talking about Edmond. I can buy a lot in Edmond for 50. Why would I buy a lot in Choctaw?
Okay,
now the lot would be bigger.
You need to get out and shop for new home lots because you're mistaken.
Okay,
what you were buying for 60 are now 75 or 80 in Edmond.
Okay,
that's
probably
happening.
true. So tell me what Jones is.
Jones is
25.
I don't even look at Jones, so I don't know.
25, 35.
Yeah, probably. I don't look at Jones. There's nothing wrong with Jones. It's just kind of set off to itself, and I just didn't get up there and look, so I don't know anything about it.
Kind of like a Piedmont.
Yeah,
but not as astute as Piedmont. I get it. I understand what you're saying. I
never seen it.
I mean, I live on the back door of Jones. So
I used to live in Chandler, and I knew something about Lincoln County, and it was a completely different market.
Well, and look at Chandler today. It hasn't appreciated as we would think it would have.
Well, it hasn't, but you still make money up there.
Well, you can make money anywhere.
That's right.
Come on.
I mean, absolutely. I did several land developments up there and made good money.
All right.
But that's a different market. You sell it a different way.
All right. So this has been the episode on land. We're wrapping it up. We're already 22 minutes in the deal. What advice would you give to someone that has the same desire that you have? Like they're into. I'm not into that. Like I'm not into building. What advice would you give them?
Well, that's a hard thing to get into. I'd probably look for lots that I could split, like a
10,
or a 3 that I could make into three 1 acre lots.
So that would be a safe original investment.
5 acres you could cut into 2 lots. Something on a road that you could sell 5 acre tracts right off the road. That kind of thing would be a good place to start.
Okay, so I guess if I was a rookie, I would have to call you. Who do you call when you are? Or you just know from your 70 years of wisdom? I
don't call anybody as a rule. I mean, I may call my engineer.
Okay.
And say, hey, what do you think it'll cost to do this or that or whatever?
Okay, we're supposed to wrap this up, but, I see lots near my area, and I see that there's water sitting on them. Okay, that scares me.
It might. I'd have to look at them.
But, I mean, how do you overcome, like I see the landscape, and I see it's a little rough terrain, and, like, can you solve any problem? Can you put backfill in there? It just costs more money.
A lot of things. Obviously, the more you have to do to the lot, the less the lot's worth to begin with. And so, you buy a $50,000 lot that needs nothing, or you buy a $20,000 lot that needs $30,000 worth of work.
Okay.
Then you're back to square one.
All right.
Now, the rougher the lot is when you start, generally the prettier a home site it will become.
Okay, that's a good rule.
You go out west, and like Yukon. The lots look like crap because they're flat. There aren't any trees on them. There aren't anything.
Right.
So they all look just alike.
Right.
And you go over go to my addition at Whippoorwill Wood at 15th and Henny. The thing rolls. It's up. It's down. Some guy's got his house on the hill. Some guy's got his house down in the low spot.
That's near my area.
And it just all rolls around, see?
I like
and
this.
it looks pretty. That out there looks like nothing to me.
But I mean, the thing, I agree with that's my philosophy. I'm a very common sense person, and I run in this area. I jog, and I look at these lots. And some of them are, but rule of thumb, I thought you're not supposed to build on the bottom because all the rain.
Well, you have to figure out where the flood zones are, and you have to figure out how to get out of the flood zones. I mean, there's lots to this, just like there is anything else.
Okay.
Now, if you're really serious about this, doing that kind of business, and you don't know how, you're going to need some help.
Right.
Now, I was blessed with a father who did it his entire life.
So how does someone, is there books to read? Have you come across anything that you could
Subdivision? No. I mean, I read the books like Robert Allen and those kind of things. Matter of fact, I went to a seminar with Robert Allen when he was teaching them himself.
Folks, the book is called Nothing Down and Creating Wealth and Multiple Streams of Income.
He was the first guru of the group that did those. But anyway, you can apply the finance techniques to some of these things.
And I think they're easier to get those acquired and creatively because it's just land.
Yeah, and the banks don't loan on it as well and so forth. And mortgage companies won't loan on it at all until you build a house on it, see. So the seller is much more inclined to help you with the financing.
On that aspect.
Yes.
So
same way with mobile homes. They're easier to finance.
So typically, let me answer this question. Ask this question. Typically, the person that actually owns some raw land, they already are astute to creative financing.
No,
they're not.
Many of them are not anything. They bought it. Maybe they lived on it. Maybe they inherited it. Whatever. Some of them are astute, but a lot of them are not at all astute as to what to do. The average person that has a piece of raw land to sell has never drawn a note, has never drawn a mortgage, has never had a survey done, has never had an abstract done, or if they have, it's one.
Right.
So they don't understand these things.
So you have to
handle everything for them.
Cool.
Just same way you do when you buy a house.
Awesome.
You buy a house from a little old lady over here. Do you have to handle it all, or does she?
Title company.
Okay, but my point is, if you get the title company involved in whatever. In this case, I'd get the title company involved and have the abstract brought to date, yada,
mortgage,
yada, yada. I'd write the note. I'd write the mortgage. Title company include the closing. Same way, but you don't have the customer knowing as much about it as you do as a rule. Now, there's exceptions to every rule.
And then I guess your technique would be to say, hey, I'll take care of this. I'll teach you. I mean, not teach you, but I walk you through this process. And
I do it on everything I buy. Or whatever it is.
And that's just your nature of your heart. All right. Well, that's Pat Poynton on raw land, rural land. Shawnee, there's so many ways to make money in real estate.
Absolutely.
And I'm over here at Slumlord in it, and you're over there, prettying up raw land. Well, awesome. All right. We got another episode coming up. Tune in.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.